Disney is bringing him back on the air tomorrow. ABC says in a statement that we made the decision last week to suspend production to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment. But now, after having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, the ABC says we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. So Kimmel's getting back to work.
The people have spoken. Come on now. All those people who canceled their subscription with Disney clearly made a difference. What really matters is when you protest with your money, it makes so much of an impact compared to if you get out there and start lifting placards and stuff. No, because they're very money driven, profit driven, then once you mess around with that, they will find a way to make a change and meet you halfway, maybe even go all the way. The people have gotten what they wanted.
Wow, Brian, that is significant, especially given that some of the players outside of Disney in a corporate setting, like Nexstar and Sinclair, they essentially have deals that allowed them to preempt his show, and that's part of the reason that it was suspended. Yeah. Do we know how they might react to this?
We don't, and that becomes the big question now. Will these local station affiliates choose to air Jimmy Kimmel Live, or will they continue to protest the comedian, even though the network is bringing him back nationwide? ABC does gently chastise Kimmel in this statement. The statement says, quote, "The decision to suspend him, we made it because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive." So they're very gently saying they disagreed with Kimmel last week, but obviously they're bringing him back as of tomorrow.
Yes, those sponsors sponsoring the news networks and the ABC, like they've also got customers. So mainly it's the people that pay. They are the target, and if they're getting rid of Jimmy Kimmel, who's liked by the people, because they want to spin a narrative on whatever, then that's their own choice. But the people will always be the ultimate. They'll always have the ultimate say so.
And we don't know, obviously, all of the considerations that went into this, Brian. But I would say leaders, obviously, at ABC and Disney have had the benefit of a few days of feedback.
Yeah. Including from Disney employees who were very disturbed, including from Hollywood stars and showrunners, the kind of people Disney wants to work with, and from free speech groups, politicians, even some Republican politicians like Ted Cruz. We know the condemnation of Disney has been widespread. Now, what we don't know yet is what the counter reaction will be from President Trump and his allies.
That's a really good point. Brian, please stand by. Terry, your reaction to this news?
It's great news. It's great news. And I think you're absolutely right, and Brian is absolutely right. This was a community standing up for the rights of Jimmy Kimmel and all people who speak in public, entertainers and we're journalists and all of them. And it worked, at least with the head of Disney. And it makes good sense because they would have won in court. One thing that gets lost in this, you do not lose your First Amendment rights because you have a broadcast license.
Yeah, that's another thing as well with Americans. Like, they have free speech. But obviously, he's done it on air. That's the problem. But at the same time, morality, man, someone's just passed away. You can't just say anything that you want. You can have free speech, but what happens to you afterwards, take that into consideration. Watch your fucking mouth, bro. Watch your mouth, man. But yeah, the main thing is, they can't take it away because he said that. But at the same time, don't be insensitive. Watch what you say. Which always baffles me with comedians as well. Like, so imagine, you're making jokes. You got to watch some of the stuff now you got to say. And this is way too soon. Way too soon. I mean, the funeral hadn't even happened, I don't think. Bro, I kind of agree with the suspension, but also I kind of agree with bringing him back. This one is kind of like, half and half, or maybe 60-40, you know.
Supreme Court has been clear on this. The government cannot take your license because of speech they don't like.
You were talking about Katharine Graham when the news broke, and these are the considerations of these bigger companies.
So the big companies have canceled him, but the people have not canceled him. This is a unique situation. This is really, really unique.
About how they're going to handle this.
But the people always win. The people always win, especially when you unite.
How they're going to think about it. They do have the benefit of some history as they do consider these moves.
Right. Well, Katharine Graham, when Nixon threatened to take her FCC, the Washington Post FCC licenses, they had some local stations. It was a main source of income. She published them anyway. She said, forget about it. And that kind of corporate courage is rare, especially in the face of an administration that exceeds by many orders of magnitude any other presidency trying to silence speech it doesn't like.
If we still have Brian, I want to go back to him because one of the
Yeah, about that. These two parties, they're very similar, but they do things in a different way. So they're more direct, the Republicans, and the Democrats are more like, Democrats just don't make sense, bro. They just, the way they do things and logic just goes out the window. And they're more like, you're stupid, you're dumb, and we don't want you to say this. No, you're stupid, you're dumb, you come here with common sense, we'll cancel you, what the hell are you talking about? And then the Republicans are more like, we are this, we are that, this is what we stand for, you know, yada, 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 traditional. And if you say anything, it's more like African leaders in like the Republicans, more like very traditional. They want to defend their tradition and what has been. And the new Democrats, they also want to defend their new way of thinking and what should be.
interesting bits of reporting that we got over the last few days was that Kimmel was actually preparing a monologue that would up the ante against some of the feedback that he got from the Trump administration. I mean, can you imagine, Brian, what might be formulating in terms of a response when he gets back on the air?
Right. Kimmel wanted to defend himself. So now Tuesday night's monologue becomes even more interesting. What he will be critical, and it might affect what local stations decide to do going forward.
Yeah, certainly will. I want to know what you think, Terry, about just sort of the moment that we are in when it comes to free speech. And I also want to play a moment from the White House press briefing today. This was a correspondent for Turning Point USA Frontline, associated with the group that Charlie Kirk founded, who asked the White House press secretary what her message is to Americans who are too afraid to express their beliefs. Here's a brief part of what Caroline Levitt said.
We have a right to free speech in this country. The president supports it. It is protected by our beautiful Constitution. And Americans should not cower in fear. They should rise up in courage to continue speaking the truth.
What do you think about what you're hearing from the White House there as we just get this news that Jimmy Kimmel will return to air tomorrow night?
Right. Well, see what the White House says. Everybody should speak up except the ones that the president doesn't like. He just barked at my former colleague, Jonathan Karl. Maybe we'll come after you.
Crazy. Yeah, it's all right having free speech until someone says what you don't like. You know, usually that's what African parents are like. But then again, how are you meant to create leaders if they can't challenge you? You don't teach them how to challenge a decision in the house. How are they meant to make that decision out there? How? So, if you like my video, please subscribe, and yeah, I'll make some more. I'll definitely make some more, and let me know what you think in the comments as well. It's a very interesting topic, and I can't wait to listen to what Jimmy has to say in the next, well, tonight actually. I'm in the UK, so tonight. Let's hear it.